Three, two, one. Hey, everybody. We're back. Alt monarchist and not a spy. We're back. It's been
Oh
a
hell
while.
yeah, we align on our chakras.
Yeah, what was it? February, March? Yeah, March, our last video.
No, we had a more recent one, but it didn't
Yeah,
get
but
posted.
yeah, like yeah, there's an issue with that video. So
Oh,
but
that's
guess
why.
what?
Because I was,
Someone was working on a political campaign to help elect a certain orange man right here. This guy.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Real
Yeah, so
word
that's why,
stuff,
I did not
man.
have time for this YouTube stuff. Like, I had a job. I was actually being a productive member of society instead of messing around on YouTube. Now here I am back with you guys. The orange man won, I'm no longer needed.
I mean, you're still needed, just like in a different way. You're like Batman, you know?
Yep, so not a spy. How are you? How you been, bro?
I'm all right, man. It's cold. Uh, it's cold as shit. It's just really cold. Oh geez, I just
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I
uh,
think it's cold everywhere. It's cold in North Carolina. It was cold in Pennsylvania. It was cold in Ohio. I've been like traveling all over for work. And yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, probably not as cold as your place. So
No, there's still like a foot of snow outside, and I was out doing things, evil things, and I could see like snow coming in from the mountains. I was like, oh God, I better get it. See,
hey
is it?
guys, hiking is what he calls evil. So
Yeah, hiking and harassing art hose. All I do is harass women with bobbed haircuts. That's what I do. And if they
well,
if they have an art degree,
here,
all the more fun.
here's the thing. Now that you harass them, you should add, oh, and Trump won.
Oh yeah. I'll be like, don't worry, baby, I'll protect you.
Yeah, I'll protect you from what, Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, by putting a burqa on you.
Hey, like these liberal women, they're such bleed hearts for like the Muslim community. You might as well like what
Yeah,
you
that's
like what
true.
like what are you, racist that you don't want to submit to
That
the Muslim standards? No, it's like either Handmaid's Tale or the burqa. Which one?
that would work. I
And-
both preferably.
yeah, yeah. If you don't choose the burqa, then you're just racist.
Yeah, choose wisely, the burqa. But yeah, that's I've been up to just like living life, doing my own thing, dealing with simps, with right wing simps. Truly, truly a foul lot they are.
Yeah, you're talking about conservative simps.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, is it me or do we give a bit of a satanic vibe with this, like the candles and the red
No,
light?
no. See, this is actually the true Christian vibe. The Satanists are LARPing as us. They wish they were us.
That's
Yeah,
fucking based. I dig this. We
yeah.
should keep this like
Hey,
Halloweenish vibe more.
hey, Orthodox are the true Goths.
That's true. You're right. Anyways, yeah. Right wing simps, truly sad
Well, like,
creatures.
what is your definition of right wing too? Right, it could vary.
Well, okay, yeah. I used to get annoyed when people would like classify anything as right wing, but well,
Yeah,
a lot of things, right?
Republicans are not right wing. So anyone watching this,
Yeah,
know this: Republicans are not right wing.
they are not.
They
But
are they are a bundle of sticks, but they're not right wing.
big peach shaped butt. I will say, like, the traditionalists definitely have a simp, like a huge simp problem. Don't you agree?
So-called traditionalists. Yeah,
Yeah, so-called traditionalists, like, and this is going to be like a whole criticism of not only simps, but like most conservatives and traditionalists. I'm not a spy. Stop punching right. I'm not punching right. I'm punching left. Two, yeah, y'all fools just won an election, so I'm gonna keep you people from getting high on your own supply by bullying you.
Well, like simping is a big problem in the conservative community because you see a lot of these so-called conservative guys, they're
Hmm.
like just a bunch of soy boys,
They
right?
really are.
Like you and I, like we hung out with when we both used to live in Arizona, we both
Hmm.
hung out with a bunch of college Republicans. You know, like we know how bad they are. You know, they're weak men.
Terrible.
They're like okay, like they hate liberals, cool base, but at the same time, they're just as bad, just as weak, and very simpish. And the
Yeah, yeah.
conservative hoes are nothing but high class prostitutes. That's what they are. You know, they
Hmm.
want the attention
Hmm.
because naturally they don't want to be with some weak ass pathetic, soy boy simp loser. But at the same time, they realize, well, you know what? Like I could actually like just get all the attention from the conservative guys. But at the same time, just kind of
Hmm.
not give them anything, like not give them anything in return. Just let them simp over me. They love that. It's this ego boost. They just want this attention. And so
Oh yeah, yeah.
naturally, biologically, they don't want to be with some liberal guy. Understandable. But the conservatives will give them the ego boost they need. That what do you call it? Dopamine in their head, right?
Oh
It kicks
yes,
in, right?
dopamine.
And they just like they bask in this attention. But at the same time, what is conservative about those hoes, about those conservative
Hmm.
Republican chicks? Because some of them support abortion. Uh, some of them, they're okay with the rainbow flag folks. They're okay with that.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yep.
what is conservative about them? But because they bash liberals and they say they hate communism. Really? Like
Nothing.
that's how far your conservatism goes. You just bash liberals
Just
online.
because she says the gamer word does not mean she's based. Okay. She says the gamer word because her last boyfriend said the gamer word. That's like 95% of the time what's up. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a red, right? That's a
Yeah.
lot of conservatives too. It's just that they haven't been put under any pressure. Uh like I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna just segue into the next part. We're like we can go back to this, but like
Okay,
I'm gonna be
sure.
real.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slaughter a sacred bull right now. I kind of don't like Tolkien. It's not that I
Yeah.
really don't like Tolkien. And he was a nerd.
Well,
And
a lot of the so-called traditionalists and conservatives, they really praise Tolkien, right?
oh yeah, yeah, especially with like his works being bought out. Ugh, funny that the free market destroys the validity of his works by selling it to a wider audience, right? And
Hmm.
corrupting it. But that's the free market. So of course
Yeah.
it can't be wrong. Um, but even when he was alive, I feel like a similar thing, if he lived till today, I feel like a similar thing might have happened, honestly.
Explain.
So there's a lot of like letters from Tolkien to people, right? And you can find these. There's discussions, there's podcasts, there's like readings of the letters, and you can really understand. It's like if you're a one of those right wingers, it's kind of like table talks if you're familiar with that, or
Okay.
like every single presidential uh president. There's like um not auto or not
Okay.
biographical. They
Yeah.
release like discussions with him with people, so you can kind of get a snapshot into that person's life. And Tolkien was no exception, but he had these letters that he would write to people. And initially, I thought like, oh, cool, famous writer J.R.R. Tolkien, famous traditionalist, right? I'd love to read these letters and see what he's like. And I've read a bunch of them, and they're just trash. They're trash, and I don't mean that like the quality of them is trash, but like just the stuff that he communicates is very weak. And I'm not going to rescind any of these takes, by the way. So feel free to hate me in the comments, but like they're weak, they're weepy, they're feminine, they're like so tragic. I hate the tragic personality type, right? Like people who love Ukraine are tragic because they're like, oh, they tried so hard and everyone betrayed them. It's like, no,
Yeah.
they were just
Well, like
tools.
just kind of not to sidetrack you, but like basically, yeah, you bring
Oh,
up
go ahead.
Ukraine. Basically, it's a like promoting Ukraine is such a feminine um cause,
Hmm.
and like yeah, I get what you're saying here. Like people, they support Ukraine, they want to, because they feel sorry for it because or just Native Americans, right, or BLM, right? It's the same
Yeah.
thing, right? You kind of hear the
Hmm.
story of oppression, this tragedy, right? That these people never had a good life, and they have this final chance to get a good life, and they don't get it because some evil bad guy is taken away from them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like just like Ukraine, and so yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah. 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 And that's what Tolkien presents in a lot of his writings. Like, I'm kind of indifferent to the whole like discussion on the Vatican II Council. I know a lot of radical Catholics love to be like, it's the worst thing ever. Perhaps, right? I'm not well enough read on it, and I'm not going to just um bandwagon on hating it because I've heard there's both good and bad things to it. So clearly it's a more complex thing than good or bad, and I'm just not going to have an opinion on it. Tolkien was very well read on it, but his criticisms of it were just dumb. And like his reaction to it, equally dumb, equally dumb, right? So he believed, and these are in his letters to people and discussions on it. So I'm going to be a little paraphrasing here. So he was anti-Vatican II, right? Okay, that's all
okay,
right. Like
yeah,
everyone has a right to, yeah, I don't know enough about it, but like sure, yeah, if you give a good argument, I'll listen. But he was anti-Vatican II because it went from all Latin mass to Latin and native local tongue. Okay, that's a half. I can understand, right? The Islamic community has a very strong point in their idea of translated Qurans not being canon. So that's a decent point. But he proceeds to follow it up with the idea that the church can and will change, perhaps radically, to meet with modernized times. Therefore, he doesn't have a problem with the church changing. It's just that the church is changing, but he doesn't have a problem with that. It's just his problem is that it's changing.
cringe.
You see the problem with that, right?
Well, Christ has said that, like, the gates of hell, you know, like it shall not conquer it. Like basically, if you're truly a traditionalist, right? If you truly want to
Yeah. Huh.
preserve the tradition of the church, right? You would understand that it's never changed and never has.
Hmm.
So, yeah, kind
Yeah,
of,
and that's
but
if he
yeah,
took the orthodox option of planting his feet and saying, no, this change shall not happen under my watch. Cool. I agree with that, right? If he takes the modernist option of him saying, well, as unfortunate as it is, things do change. We've been around for 2,000 years, depending on, your view of it, right? Um, a whole discussion for another day, but you get what I mean. If
yeah, yeah,
either of those choices, whether I agree with them or not, I can respect them. But it's his refusal to just pick one, right? That's my key problem with it. He's too much of a weenie to pick one, and he just writes letters and complains about it. That's not what a guy should do,
yeah,
frankly. Like, and his protest, it's like this is stupid. Like you'll agree that this is just like cringe. This is literally like the Chud meme before the Chud meme. Tolkien would go to intentionally, mind you, he would go to English masses and he would say the chants and prayers in Latin, but he would like yell them out to annoy people as a form of protest. Like, okay, you could write your bishop, you could write the Pope, and not one of those little cringy Tolkien letters, but like actually write a theocratic criticism. No, you're not going to do that. You're just going to go and disturb other people's pieces
yeah.
while you what?
Yeah.
you yourself agree with the whole thing,
Yeah.
but you still
Well,
think it's
the
bad.
thing is, talking like you said, he should have went the Orthodox route if he wants to be traditionalist,
Hmm.
because you
Hmm.
see, so the whole issue with like the language, like we never had a problem with the language. Like basically, prior to the schism, you had already this change, like probably in the 700 800s, where certain monks and priests would start saying, "Oh yeah, we have to kind of only do the mass in Latin, right? We only have to do it in Latin, and like the Bible and everyone, in all the nations, that are Christian, they must only start learning Latin, right?" And in the East, the priests and bishops are still, no, it's okay for people to do stuff in their own language, right? And when Cyril and
Hmm.
Methodius, when they went to the Slavs, specifically to the Russian Slavs, right? And they started to create the Slavic alphabet for the Slavs,
Hmm.
so they may communicate with the rest of the world, basically, instead of using Slavic runes, right? But anyways, Cyril and Methodius, they translate the Bible in the Slavic language, the Old Church Slavonic that we Orthodox use. And a lot of people in the West had a hissy fit about it, right? Oh, why is it not in Latin? Why is it in Slavic? And of course,
Really? I didn't know that.
yeah. And so, but of course, like um, it was never an issue for us, right? For example,
Hmm.
like of course, in America, people complain, well, how come these parishes, they speak in these languages, right? That's because we preserved our languages, right? We did not switch over to a foreign language, right? It was never an issue
Hmm.
for us. So, like, the Russian Orthodox Church, they speak Russian, right? Well, actually, they still stick to the Old Church Slavonic, right? Which is kind of like an issue, like Latin. But the Serbians, right? They speak Serbian, right? The
Hmm.
Greeks obviously still speak Greek, right? And the OCA, the Orthodox Church of America, basically American Orthodox, right? It's 100% English, right? And so we never had this issue, right? And this is the problem with Roman Catholicism, is that, like, well, you have this infighting of, you know traditional Latin Mass, or like speaking like the language of the people, right? And the
Yeah.
thing is, like, sure, the traditional Latin Mass folks, they are conservatives themselves, in a sense that they are not, liberals. They don't support all this degeneracy, right, that's being promoted by liberal priests in the Roman Catholic Church. That's a good thing. But then on the other hand, you have kind of like the Roman Catholics, who want to do the modern language, not because they want people to understand the Mass, they simply want to insert liberal ideology, right?
Hmm.
But at the same time, like we Orthodox, we kind of never had that issue where, oh well, we've always been allowed all the jurisdictions to speak in their own language. So
Hmm.
yeah, like so
I did not
so
know that. I
so
actually.
yeah. Well, I
Oh,
mean,
go on.
like, I mean, like if you go to a Bulgarian church somewhere, if you could find one somewhere, they're going to be in Bulgarian, and if it's in America, most likely they'll at least do 50% English, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like language was like never an issue for us Orthodox. Like we're not like Muslims, where like words, like we're basically, a language is magical. Um,
Hmm.
and so for some reason, the conservative Roman Catholics, they want that traditional Latin Mass, but like why, like, to be honest, for an Orthodox Christian, that's not really an issue. It never was. Just stop being a liberal.
Hmm.
Like, it doesn't matter what language you speak in. Just stop being a liberal in your daily life. That's what needs to
Yeah.
change.
And that's a big thing because I've a legitimate criticism, like as we mentioned, I am a practicing Catholic. But I'm not just going to not criticize the church or subcultures within it, right? Because there's only one person we shall not criticize because of his perfection, not because any other reason, but because of his perfection. Um, and I will say uh, what you could say traditional Latin math sort of revivalism that's coming to a lot of people just say like it's good because it's traditional. or it's good because that's how it should be. Even though the Vatican Council and the papacy have both agreed that in whatever native tongue, uh, mass in whatever native tongue is actually how it should be. Like that's their preferred method these days, not the Latin mass.
Yeah.
Now in Rome, they do a lot of Latin mass because Latin is the official language of the Vatican. But I digress. Like the discussion has already been had, and acting like the discussion hasn't been had. It's kind of like those conservatives, those like constitutionalists
Oh yeah.
that act
Okay.
like everything stopped at John Locke. They completely ignored that the Leviathan by John Hobbes, or by not John Hobbes, but by Hobbes, completely blew all of those philosophers and Enlightenment thinkers out of the water, and it is still far more relevant than Locke and Voltaire and thinkers like that. But they don't want to. They don't want to realize that because the Leviathan was written after all of the thought that they use. Right? It's like they want it to stop, and I feel like that's a serious problem. It's a problem of dogma, frankly, where people want to act like theocratic thought has stopped pre Second Vatican Council, and it becomes a kind of boogeyman that people don't want to discuss. Now, admittedly, the Catholic Church is close to schism, which I will actually say I frankly support the concept.
Hey, I support the schism in the Roman Catholic Church, and you guys are more than welcome to reunite with the Orthodox.
I might
Yeah,
honestly, the way that things
yeah.
go,
Well,
please
here's the
keep
thing, though. Here's the thing,
the
though.
light on for me.
It seems like in 2025 we're gonna have like a schism with the Greeks officially. So, and when I see Greeks, it does not mean all Greeks. There will be a schism amongst the Greeks as well, and they'll kind of remain with us. But there's gonna be a good portion of the Greeks that want to unite with this current pope, and
Mm,
it looks like Constantinople might be underneath Rome's jurisdiction again officially, right? And so, but here's the thing though, for us Orthodox, it's not lost because like we always,
mhm,
because here's the thing, we study history, we're like, oh yeah, there's a schism before, then these guys, they remained loyal, these guys, they went away for a while, but then these guys, they returned to the truth, and then these guys, they stopped being loyal and they, became heretics. So like the Roman Catholic Church is like, well, the views of the apologists for Roman Catholicism is like, oh yeah, like we like there's the schism with this one time and that's it. It's like, wait a minute, hold on, there's so many multiple schisms before the Great Schism, right? Like
oh,
we,
and after
but
too, and after.
well, we had churches that broke off, that broke communion, then like 100 years later they get back together again. Like it's normal, right? It's just
Hmm.
eventually. Now that's why we said the Orthodox Church has never changed, because sure, we'll have one jurisdiction, they'll be, in like schism with someone else, but then they'll come back again, right?
Hmm.
So like for us, like basically if Constantinople like resubmits itself, well, like not resubmit because we're never submissive to Rome, but if they kind of unite with Rome, um, then we'll be like, okay, well, okay, Greeks, those of you who want to stay with us, stay with us. But Constantinople, well, if you that's your choice, well, good luck to you.
Hmm.
But yeah, but uh, yeah, like for us, like a lot of these issues, like schism, like it's not like a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Roman Catholics try to make it like a big deal, but we try to say, wait a minute, Jesus Christ is the central authority,
Hmm.
right? He's basically the central authority, and then the
Hmm.
patriarchs, the popes, basically, the patriarchs are basically popes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like we have the Pope of Alexandria, right? That's the Alexandrian patriarchate. We call him the Pope of Alexandria, right? Pope
Hmm.
patriarch means it's the same name, same thing, same title.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of Roman Catholics forget
You're
that we
making
we have
me
we have multiple basically patriarchs, which are popes.
you're making me more and more curious.
Yeah. But anything else you'd like to add about conservatives and Tolkien?
Yeah, yeah. I will actually I'm going to continue going full send against Tolkien. His works are going to be corrupted. They're going to continue to be corrupted.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this not because I want it. I actually respect, and I can prove it too. Hold on.
Okay.
So I actually have pre the Tolkien, whatever it's called, like the Tolkien Society or whatever.
Hmm.
Uh, the people that had the legal rights to his works. I have pre them selling out to Amazon the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, and I'm also compiling older texts from him, as in
Okay.
like ones prior to that. So I do respect the works, and I'm not going to say he was a bad writer. No, he was a phenomenal writer, right? He was an excellent writer. I would be a fool to say otherwise. I think you can agree with that too. But
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
his his works will be corrupted. And I don't say that because I think he was a dweeb. He was a dweeb. I'm saying that as a form of prophecy, if you will. The reality is, and it's quite funny because Tolkien's works are going to be a microcosm of England being corrupted and destroyed. Tolkien thought that, and again, please look at his his letters to people. He thought that he could live in a little bubble and he could constantly ride the middle ground and act like being a fence sitter for serious moral discussions. Would earn him something. I don't know. He thought it reminds me. There's a YouTuber called What If Altist who
I
constantly
really,
acts like he's.
I really hate what
Oh,
all this. That Lord have mercy. But like that guy just like, irritates me so much.
oh yeah, he's like, yeah, he's somewhat smart, but he does get high off of his own supply. And one of my
Dude, what
big
if also
problems with
like
him.
he? I'm sorry to interrupt, bro, but what if
Oh, go
also
ahead, go ahead.
literally he needs to stop? He needs to stop talking about Russian history. He doesn't know
Mm-hmm.
anything about it, but he just keeps talking about it like an expert. And like he talks about Civil War scenarios, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
he brings up the Russian Civil War. And my question is, why, bro? Why? You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know the nuances of the Russian Civil War. Get someone who's
Mm-hmm.
actually, read some books about it. Me, right?
Yeah.
Like someone's been
Oh yeah,
researching this.
yeah.
Like why are
Yep.
you talking about the Russian Civil War then comparing it to like today? It's like, no, like yeah. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
Oh no, no, you're good. And I agree. Now he does have some good videos on the anthropology of certain ideals, right? And ideologies. I will say those are decent videos. But my key criticism with Rudyard is he constantly, one, he's taught by Peter Zahan, which has constantly been proven to be a fool. Two, uh, Rudyard constantly refuses to pick a side on serious moral discussions. And he believes that he's taking the moral high ground by not picking a side. He constantly thinks that those people that are like, or the what's the word, principled centrists, that's the word.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Rudyard is.
Like
Oh, go on.
so, like, what if all this, right? He reminds me. Is that what you call him, Rudyard?
Yeah, Rudyard is his name.
Okay, interesting name. So he, like, he is literally like what it like those conservative simps that you and I are familiar with. He's literally
Mm-hmm.
them. He's literally them. Like the way he, like everything he believes in, like he's basically spouting their ideas. He acts like them. And he even looks like them. I saw
Absolutely.
his physical
Mm-hmm.
appearance on YouTube several times. He looks
Mm-hmm.
like that embodiment of conservative simps.
He does, and he has like. I'll admit, I'm making fun of his appearance when I say this, right?
And again,
His skull shape is bad.
well, here's, I'm not like degrading someone, for their appearance, but there is still an appearance. There is a physical description
Yeah.
of someone who is a conservative simp, and that's just him.
Oh,
Again, so I'm not
yeah.
trying to
Like
like degrade anybody, but that's just how it is. That's just like that is the physical image of a conservative simp.
I'll be honest. I'm not going to lie. I am going to degrade him on this. Like, Rudyard, lift some weights, dude. Like, you and I both, right? We can show up and flex, and like whether we might or might not be the strongest dudes out there, but at least we have enough physical prowess to be proud of it, right? And someone can look at you or me and be like, "Ah, that dude could probably punch someone's head off," right? Rudyard, like again, like I'm not saying this because like to bully him, but I guess I am bullying him. Like, dude, get in the gym, shave, and
Positive bullying.
uh,
Positive bullying.
yeah, that's actually about it. I understand he has a bit of a speech impediment. I used to have a speech impediment when I was a kid, so like I get it. I'm not gonna bully him on that, but it's like get in the gym, dude. Like really treat yourself with some dignity and respect and stop it with this principled centrist garbage because that's what Tolkien did. And we can see what happened to Tolkien 80 years later. Or, when did he die? He was alive in the 60s.
I think it was the 60s, but yeah, I'm not gonna look that up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whenever. Well, we'll just say 80s to keep it solid. Um, Tolkien refused to pick sides. And like you
Well,
can see in his
with the principal
writings too.
centrist, just like the San Diego liberals, smells his own farts, and I
Mhm.
got that from South Park. Yes. Oh no,
That's a
San
good one.
Francisco.
That's I've never
San
heard that.
Francisco, not San Diego, but yeah.
Like the who are the characters in all of the Lord of the Rings books, right? The hobbits. They are the focal point characters of it. And one of the key one of the key traits of the hobbits philosophy and worldview is that they refuse to get involved in other things, right? They refuse to pick a side. And that's presented as a very virtuous, good spirited thing, right? But the reality is, um, I'm just going to leave it at this. Reds won't let you do that. And being nice does not keep you safe from them.
Oh, we just want to be left alone. We want to farm peacefully. We're not on nobody's side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
That's
foolishness.
that's
Straight
exactly
foolishness.
the
Weakness, cowardice,
yeah, it
foolishness.
is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. And Tolkien had that mindset where he would refuse. I'm not going to state any specific items. Just go through his writings, his letters. You'll see what I mean, right? Like the Vatican Council topic is exactly one of them, where he criticizes it and then he proceeds to say, "Oh, papal infallibility." But we shouldn't change the language.
Yeah.
But the culture should change through time. But it's wrong. But it's actually right. He can't
Yeah.
just plant his feet and say, like, no, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not going to side with that because I disagree with it. He wants to appease both sides.
So
And that is a
basically,
huge
Tolkien
problem
was
with
not
Tolkien.
truly an activist, right?
No, no, he wasn't. He wasn't. He was he was the hobbit. He
Hmm.
sat around on his little cottage and
Well,
said and
I
again,
could be wrong, so I could be making stuff up, but I
go ahead.
think he did say that he did view himself as the hobbits. I could be wrong.
I
I could be.
believe
It might not be true, but I think I read somewhere where he kind of viewed himself as the hobbits.
he probably did. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that specifically, but when you go through enough of someone's readings and then you see that, or you hear something, you're like, yeah, that's totally something he would say. That's totally something Tolkien would say. Um, and but he thinks, and I'm one of those people. I think like the whole caring about the workings of the universe is dumb, but you still need to have morals and solidly planted boot heels in the ground. Um,
Yeah,
and Tolkien,
you need some sort of declaration of what you stand for and believe in.
exactly,
Yeah,
yeah. And Tolkien did not have that because he thought it was a sort of and I do understand from his worldview where he thought like the world is this never-ending story, right? And while a lot of people do get that like hero complex of like I'll save the world forever, nobody actually saves the world forever. So Tolkien thought he was kind of beyond that, and I guess kind of following the spirit of the principled centrist, smarter than everybody else. I don't mean that like he actually thought that, but that's kind of the stance that a lot of these people have.
Well, like they're very smug. They're very smug people.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, very smug, very smug, and Tolkien was no less. Um, and you can see that like so. The author. Do you know what Moomins are?
No.
They're these really, really adorable Swedish cartoons that are like wholesome and stuff. They're really,
Really?
really
Swedish
cute.
being wholesome? That's weird.
Yeah, it's one of the few good
Well,
things
it's
the
not weird,
Swedes
it's
have done in the
unusual, but
world.
yeah.
Yeah. So they're these really like cute cartoons, and the lady who was the illustrator for them, she did a illustrated version of The Hobbit, and she took Tolkien's descriptions because, of course, Tolkien, and he did this intentionally. He left a lot of his descriptions vague, so you would fill things in with your brain. It's like the if anyone's done writing, they've written fiction. You don't write like, um, oh, it was a white prayer candle with a wooden topping with a vertical grain with Saint Ryan Gosling on it and white wax. Like nobody does that. It'd just be like, oh, prayer candles littered the room, right? That allows you to actually paint it in your
To be
head.
fair, Tolkien, he would write that.
He would, but he left some things intentionally vague,
Yeah, yeah.
like the description of Gollum. Actually, I have it. I have the red book here. Hold on, let me
The Red Book is what?
see if I. Oh, the red book is The Hobbit. Flies and spiders. Oh, that's the right part of it. No, no, no. Flies and spiders was in Mirkwood. Mirkwood was after he got the ring.
Yeah.
Let's see. Queer lodgings. That was when we met that one guy. Was a bear.
Hold on. You don't have the whole collection. You don't have the Silmarillion. You don't have the Children of Hurin. You don't have the
I do have the Silmarillion.
okay. But you have the Children of Hurin or Hurin or
No, I
whatever.
don't have that one yet.
Is it Hurin?
Here we are. Riddles in the Dark.
Okay.
Gollum. Let's see, where's the part where he describes him? I apologize. I'm not trying to pad the time. This is relevant to the discussion. That's okay. He's asking. I've read this like 3 times, so
Yeah.
it is a good. Again, he's an excellent author. Where's Riddles in the Dark? Open this out. At that time, fell for his pipe. He didn't break his pipe. Where's the part where Gollum shows up? Okay, there's a pool. Here we are.
Right?
Deep down here by the. Yeah,
No, you were
what's
saying
up?
you're reading, right?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Deep down here by the dark water lived old Gollum, a small, slimy creature. I don't know where he came from nor who he was. He was Gollum, as dark as darkness, except for two big, pale, round eyes in his thin face. He had a little boat and he rowed about quietly. That's pretty much like the entire physical description. Long fingers, right? But
Wait, what wasn't he like a hobbit in a previous life? Or is that just a movie thing?
it was a similar folk, but it wasn't the same. Anyways, like he describes Gollum kind of, he doesn't describe him as like he's 4'6" with a bulbous head, kind of wears a loincloth looking fellow, right? He doesn't describe him like that. And he does that, of course, for artistic purposes, which I get. But this lady did a illustration of Gollum that was somewhat more trollish, like the Swedish version of a troll. So like large and plants covered, right? And Tolkien, instead of writing a letter that was like, hey, that's not my, how I intended Gollum to be represented. Here's more of what I would like for this. He wrote a long letter criticizing and being like, that's not what Gollum's supposed to look like. He's supposed to look like, She's smaller, and but like he was very rude in the letter. Is my qualm with it, right? That's just not how a person should act.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of deeper topics.
And did she
He
change the
would
image or no?
No, she didn't because it was already in print. I believe it was later revised several years later, but
So
um
the golem that we
the,
see like in the movies, is that the golem that the lady painted or
no, that's a different one. The Gollum
okay.
we see in the films is more so a Gollum that that Tolkien would have liked. Like if you read about the Russian Civil War, dude, it's filled with these. You know what they are? They're the right wing version of useful idiots. Like, are you
The
familiar with
principal
that topic?
the principal centrist, they're the
Yeah, yeah.
that's them.
So Bezmenov talked about these people he called useful idiots, which
Bezmenov,
for
yeah,
like any.
he's a liberal cuck himself, so I don't really take him seriously.
Yeah, but I will
Yeah,
say his expose on the Marxist
yeah,
strategy for destroying societies, like that, it's good that that's out there. And he talks about the useful idiots, which are like one of they're one of the reasons why whenever there's a red revolution, the right wing Reds actually always get in control. And it's because the useful idiots, which are like the identity groups, right? Like we're the People's Front of Judea. We believe that this is a Monty Python reference.
yeah,
We we believe that men have the right to have a child, even if they can't carry a child. Like those are the useful idiots. And
yeah,
so Bezmenov believed that now the nature of the right and the left wing are of course different. So the left wing useful idiots were inherently used for offensive
yeah,
actions, whereas the right wing useful idiots, the principled centrists, I would say, are an inherently defensive um, group.
yeah.
They can't really be used for anything else, but they can be used for blocking a lot,
Mhm.
right? Because it's very easy to appeal to their fifis and get them to say like, we need to stop anything, right?
Yeah,
Like Donald Trump is kind of he's not 100%, but he's kind of one of those like principled centrists where like he hasn't pushed a single pro Christian right wing
yeah.
thing. He's only pushed things, and that's a hot take, right? Oh, but not a spy. What about Roe v. Wade? Did he make it a federal ban on abortion?
No, he basically did the whole crappy libertarian notion where like bring it back to the states rights, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, and
yeah,
the
exactly.
states are basically influenced by the modern world, and
Hmm.
sure, like because a lot of Republican politicians, like even if they are in a relatively reddish state, like this time when I say red, I mean Republican, not communist. And so when
Yeah,
they're in a relatively reddish state, they try to be neutral on abortion themselves. They don't want to lose that seat, that political position that they got. They cannot afford that.
yeah. Or how many times do you hear them say like, "Oh, they can't pick that guy." I don't like Vivek Ramaswamy, right? Like I know he's kind of a narc, but like, how many? This is a perfect example. Oh, he couldn't pick Vivek because he's too Christian. It's like too Christian, too
Wait,
Christian. What
hold
do you
on.
mean too Christian?
Vivek's not Christian.
Yeah, I've heard people say that.
Yeah,
I've actually heard people, oh, he couldn't pick Vivek because he's too Christian. It's like
yeah.
too Christian.
Well,
What are you
actually,
people talking
what's
about?
interesting, I am kind of surprised if Vivek. Like, actually, I think Vivek is on board with Trump. Yeah, he's going to be part of that. What do you call it? Department of not regulation. Well, Elon Musk, he's going to be part of it too. I think Vivek's on board with that too. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
He's brought on to but like a lot of people wanted
Government efficiency. That's
government
the
efficiency.
new
That's what it is.
department
Yeah.
that, like, yeah. So I think Vivek's going to be running that with Elon.
Yeah. But it's the like, oh, he can't or like name why didn't he jail Hillary, right? Serious question, people.
Yeah.
I know we're 8 years later, but
What's
it's
funny
like
is
why?
a
Why? What?
lot of Republicans tell liberals, you see. Trump did not jail anybody, but you guys tried to jail Trump. See how bad you are. My question is, why
Yeah.
didn't he jail Hillary? You know?
Yeah, it's like why? Why
Yeah.
why? Why didn't you? Why didn't you, dude?
The thing
Like
is,
I wanted it, you
see,
wanted it, we all wanted it.
liberals, the reason why they win no matter what, like, despite the fact the country could be 99%, relatively conservative, right? Liberals will
Hmm.
win because liberals keep pushing.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like for like,
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
because here's the thing, I tell Republicans, listen, if you like, you need to understand, you must treat liberals the same way they want to treat you. Like you cannot
Yeah.
allow them to have the right to say whatever they want. You know, like
Hmm.
like basically, someone's an obvious liberal, start questioning them, arrest them, put them in prison, right?
Hmm.
because
Sam Hyde put it
because
perfectly.
well, they're going to arrest you. They're going to put you in prison
Hmm.
over
Yeah,
nonsense.
Sam Hyde put it perfectly. Now he didn't say this, but it's the premise of like you won. Why are you acting nice? They're not going to act nice, people. You know what they're going to do? They're going to put your kids in re-education camps. That's what they're going to do. Like,
Yeah,
and they've said they wanted to do that. So this isn't like a crazy hot take, right?
yeah.
Like they said they wanted to do that less than 4 years ago. But when Sam Hyde said like these people want, I'm trying to remember the quote. You've probably seen it. It's like these people want you dead. They want your children sterilized, and they think it's funny. Like there's no amount of like, ha, I won. Now I'm not gonna do anything because I'm a nice guy. It's like, no, no, you're gonna finish last, dude. You're gonna finish last. And your
Yeah,
children will be crying
yeah.
40 years from now. Your children will be crying and they'll say, why didn't you do anything? And you can stand there as a principled
Yeah.
moderate
As a principal
and be like,
constitutionalist.
yep, and be like, it's because I was a good guy. Oh, you're a good guy, right?
Yeah.
You're a good guy. You're so good that your entire legacy of victory was wiped out in 5 years. Like, yeah, yeah, really good, huh?
Yeah, don't be a Republican simp. Be a fascist
Hmm.
Chad.
Yeah. Look, if she bullies you, she's into you. Okay. If she
It depends.
this is
Not
the
all the
worst
time. Not
advice.
all the time, guys. Guys, don't listen to this fool.
If she bullies you and treats you poorly, that means she actually likes you. It's like the dragon Mithra, and that's chaos. And you no, I'm sorry, I can't anymore. Good night.
Right, right, guys. So that, like, share, subscribe. See ya.